listening to the Paul Young Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Paul Young Podcast. Today, I want to read a piece that was written by a very, very dear friend of mine, Susan Stubbs. Brian and Susan have a ministry called Relentless Hope, but they've been friends for a while. So this is a piece that she wrote, and I really, really like it, so I thought I'd share it with you. My big, glorious, entirely worthless garden. When we lived on an island in the Ring of Fire of Indonesia, I had the idea to plant a vegetable garden. After all, anything grew in our rich volcanic dirt, coupled with the tropical temperatures and humidity. It was a dream of a greenhouse. I had returned with seeds from the United States, the vegetables that we dearly missed from home, and I eagerly planted them in the large plot of black, fertile dirt in the backyard. The plants quickly grew to monstrous sizes and blossomed as I'd never seen them back in Oregon. Zucchini plants that were 3 times the normal size. The whole plot became an explosive jungle, just as I had imagined, and my mind went wild with what this could mean. Our American teammates were ecstatic as I promised to share the bounty when the harvest came. I had a lot of pride that I'd pulled this off. But as the weeks went by, the hundreds of massive blossoms began to shrivel and eventually die off, falling to the ground. I grew increasingly distraught every day as I watched my literal jungle of green garden drop every single possibility of bearing produce. Produce. What a word. I was producing nothing. It had looked so promising, and so many were watching the project, and it was for the good of us all. What happened? Have you ever had a garden like that? Or a project? Or a hope? Or a dream? Have you ever made glee-filled plans and promises when all was green and huge and blossoming, only to watch the blossoming promises drop and the green-leaved promises seem to mock you? Have you ever felt the red burning cheeks from having talked so big and faith-filled as you stand there empty-handed? I have, not just about my garden. No produce for anyone, only wasted time. Kind of makes you want to not ever plant again, huh? Or hope or dream. As friends walked the path in front of our jungle home, they would call out asking about the status of the miracle experiment. My excitement had turned to confused embarrassment. One massive, absolutely glorious garden that had produced absolutely zero. Now, about this point in the story, my gardener friends were well down the path in their brains of explaining planting zones, bees, pollination, etc. to me, and trust me, I have since learned the complexity and the improbability of my bold plan. I was young back then and new to the jungle. My professors from college would take a different approach and explain the very real truth that what works in our home country does not always work overseas when we want to share the story of Jesus. That we need to use contextualized approaches, etc. And they would be absolutely right. But can you pause with me just for a moment and let me tell you what my father said to me as I walked my plot of fertile dirt filled with vibrant green foliage and wild vine growth and zero produce? Can I share what he whispered in my ear as I explained to friends that there was nothing? Flashy, showing, big, and promising means very little if the right basic elements are not in place. The flashiest, biggest leaves means nothing if there's nothing to eat in the end. My work for him can look good and shiny and big and have zero actual fruit that feeds anybody. The last few years I've witnessed my daughter-in-law bring in a huge crop of tomatoes from her small patch of dirt that barely ekes out enough sunshine tucked between the 2 tall homes. As the plants grow, she ruthlessly prunes the suckers back, which in the end results in a huge, ugly, non-promising looking plant that produces abundant fruit, which she cans and feeds her large family for the year ahead, and gives away a lot to her friends, more than enough. But it turns out my big, glorious, entirely worthless garden produced something after all. A vibrant word picture of what my life can become if all I produce is flashy green leaves and hundreds of promising buds of thought, but bear no food. As God walks the dirt of my life and pinches off the suckers that to me feel promising and to him mean wasted, expended energy, I feel bare, sore from the pinches, tall and gangly, not showy and vibrant. In fact, I can call him mean and ruthless for doing so if I'm honest, pinching off all my brilliant ideas one by one. Have you ever felt God's pinching? Have you ever winced when God seemed to take a dream away? Have you ever felt foolish for believing? Am I willing to be gangly and nothing to look at if it means the fruit I do produce will feed my family and those around me with the fruit of the Spirit? Lord, come pinch off the suckers of our soul, hoe the weeds of our heart, cut back the energy stealers of our big flashy leaves, and tie our vines to the stake of you, so we will bear only fruit of the Spirit filled with you, so that our lives will be food for our family, our friends, our neighbors, our world. We are older now. We no longer live in that black dirt jungle. Instead, we live tucked in between the tall issues that come to us as we do our work counseling with missionaries. We no longer aspire to have the big green leaves that flash success or attract the attention or advertise what they can't produce. We want the fruit, the crop, that comes from a brilliant gardener God who thinks huge gangly rootstocks are beautiful and ruthlessly pinches off all that is not of love's kind. Stay gangly, dear ones. Stay tied tight to the stalk that is his love and just watch what he will do. And when the fruit comes, share it wide. The world needs a lot more gangly ones and a whole lot less showy leaves. And to that, I say, Amen. Thanks, Susan.